There's nothing like a family reunion to make you realize how dysfunctional your own family is. Just ask any mobster, because we all know that the Mafia is one big happy family. In fact, when two Mafia families fight each other, it usually ends with blood in the water. But if a member of the same family commits a crime, then the consequences are just as bad, if not worse. After all, it's considered 10 times worse to kill another made man than an enemy soldier from another family. And don't forget about the blood oath. Once you take someone else's life, you're now forever bound to that person's soul. So killing another Mafia member is kind of like signing up for a lifetime of haunting. But what happens when a Mafia boss has to deal with a son who took his father's life? Let's find out. Joseph Barbera was born in the Bronx on June 26, 1904. His family moved to West Virginia when he was still a toddler, so his father could work in the coal mines. But they returned to New York City when Joe was 7 years old. The family lived in poverty, and by the time he was 12, Joe was already making money dealing newspapers on the streets. As an adult, he joined the U.S. Army, but was discharged after being convicted of desertion. Not long after, he became involved with the local Mafia and earned the nickname Joe the Boss. By age 28, he was arrested for robbery and sent to prison for 4 to 10 years. But he was once again released early due to good behavior. After getting out, he hooked up with the Lucchese crime family and worked under the bosses Charles Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese. During this time, he learned the true meaning of loyalty, which he demonstrated when he testified against his former Bonanno crime family associates in court. For the next few decades, he continued working in the narcotics racket and rose through the ranks. When Vito Genovese was arrested for ordering the murder of a federal agent, Joseph Barbera stepped in to lead the family until Vito was released. Eventually, he became a boss of the family himself, and the new underboss was nobody else but his very own son, Joseph Anthony Barbera. Now we know what you're thinking. How did he get that name? Well, the answer is simple. He was named after his father, also known as Joe, who was named after his father, who was also called Joe. It's an Italian thing. Anyway, Joe Jr. had been working for the family since he was just a kid, and proved himself to be exceptionally skilled at running the numbers racket. But even though father and son were partners in crime, they were complete opposites. Joseph Barbera, the elder, was a shrewd businessman and preferred to stay out of the limelight. In contrast, the younger Joseph, Anthony Barbera, was impulsive, hot-headed, and liked to live large, like really large, such as owning a fleet of luxury cars. In fact, he drove around in a Rolls-Royce while most of his soldiers drove around in Volgas. Of course, his father didn't approve of his flashy lifestyle, but he knew he couldn't change him, so he just let it go. The only thing he hoped for was that his son would change his attitude towards women. See, Tony loved to beat up his mistresses after sleeping with them, which got him into quite a bit of trouble. But even that didn't change. In fact, things got so bad that one time the boss himself had to bail his son out of jail after he assaulted a woman in a hotel room. Needless to say, the elder Joe was disappointed in his son and was hoping he would grow out of his bad habits one day. Sadly, that never happened. The last thing Joe the boss ever said to his son was, "You'll get yours," right before his son shot him in the back of the head. What? Yes, believe it or not, Joseph Anthony Barbera killed his own father. And although there's no direct evidence that he committed the murder, every sign pointed towards him. Even though the police investigation didn't result in any arrests, other crime bosses immediately suspected that Tony was behind the hit. After all, he and his father were the only ones who knew the combination to the safe where the family's money was kept. So who ordered the hit and why? We can't say for sure because the murder was never solved, but it probably had something to do with money. You see, not long before the murder, the FBI had seized 100 grand from the barber's illegal gambling operation, which put the family in debt. On top of that, Tony owed his father $50,000 from a previous debt. Maybe he wanted to keep the money for himself, or maybe he felt his father wasn't giving him enough. Whatever the reason, Tony's greed got the best of him and he murdered his own father. Of course, this was a serious crime in the Mafia world, and the family had to take action. They held a secret meeting to discuss what to do with the traitorous son. But instead of giving him the usual punishment, they decided to go easy on him. Why? Because they thought it would be too obvious if they killed him. Now, it's true that taking out a made man is a serious offense, but killing the boss's son might cause some problems. So the public might think the family was behind it, and that's something the family didn't want. So instead of silencing Tony, they decided to put him in witness protection. In order to make his disappearance believable, they even gave the media false information about his wife's alleged affair with a member of the Gambino crime family. This is pretty messed up if you think about it. The family was sacrificing an innocent woman's reputation to cover up their own crime. But this just shows how important it was for them to keep Tony alive. After all, he was the only remaining legitimate heir to the barber's criminal fortune. And even though he was now hiding somewhere in Florida, that didn't mean he was safe. There was always the chance that someone within the family might come looking for him, especially his uncle, Felix Barrett, who was furious over his brother's death. Now, Felix was desperate to avenge his brother's death and become the new boss. But he knew that if he went to Tony and killed him, the whole family would turn on him. So instead, he did something much more evil. He kidnapped Tony's wife and kids and killed them. But even that wasn't enough to save him. The rest of the family still wasn't going to accept him as the boss, so they killed him too. As for Tony, he lived the rest of his life in hiding and was only given a number instead of a name. And even though he was able to start a new life, he would always carry the burden of knowing that his actions had destroyed his own family. So what lessons can we learn from this story? Well, first of all, never trust a mobster, especially if he's your own son. Secondly, no matter how much money you have, it's never worth killing your own father. And thirdly, if you're going to commit a crime, make sure you don't leave any witnesses behind. And speaking of witnesses, if you've made it this far in the video, then you must really love watching videos like this. But don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. In fact, we have a special gift for you. You see, here at our channel, we love making videos about the Mafia, and we know you love watching them. So we've decided to give you the opportunity to watch an exclusive video about the Mafia. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, and you will be taken to our website. There you can sign up for free and gain access to our platform where you will find all kinds of great content, including our latest video. Plus, by signing up, you'll also be supporting us and helping us continue making more awesome videos for everyone. So don't wait. Click the link in the description below and sign up today. You won't regret it.